just chill out for a little bit and just sort of peruse through this player's handbook from Dungeons and Dragons. If you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, it is a essentially tabletop role-playing game that you can play with your friends, and it's all relatively imaginary, but you can buy all sorts of stuff to enhance the gameplay or the feel of it or whatever. So I don't really have too much of that, but I really like D&D. I've played it only a handful of times in my life, and at some point I want to learn how to properly DM, Dungeon Master, or Game Master, or whatever you want to call them. So me and my friends can play, but ultimately my biggest experience with the D&D format would be the video game Baldur's Gate 3. So if you're into video games and you want like the D&D, there's a car going by. If you want the D&D feel, definitely pick that game up. That game is fantastic. But yeah, let's just jump into this bad boy. The Player's Handbook. Oh, and I'm also gonna borrow my wife's blacklight. Just point stuff out. Page looks weird. This book is barely used, I would say. We did not play much of it. Okay, so you got your credits. All the people who worked on it over here. Shout out to Tyler Jacobson for the cover. Hey, look at all those people. Okay, so you have your table of contents here. And we've got it broken down into preface, which I guess we're in, introduction, and then you've got your, larger parts. I like how they're parts and then they're broken down into chapters. I like that. It could just be, chapter, but essentially I like that. I will say, when I was learning how to DM just a little bit, this contents page was laid out very well for me to go back and figure out where I want to be. So yeah, step by step, and then races, classes. So that's basically just character creation, and then this is playing the game. Magic has its own part, because if there's one thing I know, there's a lot you can do, especially with magic in this game. So, and then you've got appendix, so many, the index, character sheet. Okay, so we got the preface. So I guess this is the preface. And I'm just gonna skim through this. If you guys want to read any of this, you are more than welcome to pause the video and just read it. But yeah, okay, so good introduction here. So immediately tells you what a DM is. And then you've got, how to run the game. Okay, and then it tells you how to use this book, how to play the game. I like how there is a small section right here for the D20 dice, or die, excuse me. Yeah, also, I'm I'm sure most of you are aware, if not about at least what D&D is, but you have different dice in your arsenal, and the D20 is the most what's the word? Illustrious, maybe. But yeah, I have multiple sets of dice. I even bought, because I thought we were gonna like really get into a game, I even bought like myself some metal dice. So those are pretty cool. If you guys ever want to see them, let me know down in the comments. Oh, check that out. Okay, hold on. No, look, we got it. Okay, 3 pillars. Okay, haha. Wonders of magic. Great, fantastic. Look at this picture. Wow, that really does something to that castle. That's pretty cool. It kind of turns their armor like, I don't know how to describe that. Ethereal. It's pretty dope. Very cool. Very neat. Okay, so now we're just getting into. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I like what it really does something to her. Just the lighter people, but very nice. Okay, so this is just step by step characters. So you choose a race, choose a class. Character starts at level 1, of course. That would probably also just be up to like DM discretion based on how they run the campaign. Okay, so hit points and hit dice. Okay, so it gives you the ability score summary of each of these races. That's pretty cool. And then your proficiency bonus. I'm not gonna sit here and try and explain any of this because I only have like half a mind myself. So if you're at all curious, like I said, you're more than welcome to pause the video, read, or just like, I mean, shoot, you're on YouTube, just look up, hey, explain this to me. That is not my job. My job is ASMR. Okay, so yeah, building. Oh, sounds like that loud person's back. People in loud vehicles are always compensating for something. Okay. Oh, and then you gotta describe your character. Brenner. He's a cool-looking dwarf. I like the belt buckle and the shoulder pads. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so you got your character's abilities. So this is all just about building a character, so I guess what they're doing, giving an example. Beyond first level. Oh, and then it gives you. Okay, so this is the experience points. So there's 2 different ways you can do this, I believe, where I think it might get into this later or not, I'm not sure, but it basically tells you as a DM you can choose to either give characters experience and then they level up based on when they hit, or you can just level up people through milestones, which when I DM'd a few times, that was my preferred method because less numbers. Ooh, check out that fire. Ooh, that's dope. Ooh, man, look at that. That is cool. 'Very nice. guys just sleeping. That fire was pretty cool. Okay, so now we're in the second chapter where it's all about the races. And then it kind of just briefly says, hey, you may want to take the appropriate step to choose the race that you actually would want to play, because they all have like buffs and debuffs in certain categories. Like, I think a good example is there's a lot of the races that have night vision. Well, humans don't, so that's something to consider. Racial traits. Literally, there's also sub-races, age, all sorts of stuff like that. Oh, she's got a big hammer. Okay, so now we're gonna go into where it's just race after race after race after race. So, and it tells you like a little bit of their history. It'll tell you like different factions, I guess, if they actually have those, which is pretty neat. But like, you have to take, because Dungeons and Dragons is a role-playing game, so you have to take into consideration like what you want your motives to be when you choose your race, because a dwarf might be more like fortune bound than your other typical adventurer. If like I can't think of a race that just doesn't like gold, but they would just be more apt to make the decision for the gold, if that makes sense. Or you don't even have to do that, depending on your DM. I mean, this is just loose guidelines. The world is your oyster when it comes to this type of stuff. Oh look, it even gives you names, common names. So, see, here's what I'm talking about. They have dark vision because they are usually living in dark and dim conditions. So you can see in dim light within 60 feet of you as if it were bright light. Stone gunning. So right here's a good example. Right there you can either choose to be a hill dwarf or a mountain dwarf. So there's a good example of like the factions thing I was talking about. Not necessarily factions, but they're just different. They live differently. They are a little bit different. So here's where we start the elf. Elf dude looking pretty neat. So, unlike the dwarves, they are slender and graceful. And they can live for over 700 years. Elongated lifespan, these guys. So that's pretty neat. Hidden among the trees. Here's common elf names. Oh, there's some more, the female ones. I like how it breaks it up. It's like, here's some child names, but then you can have some adult names as well. An elf typically claims adulthood and an adult name around the age of 100 and can live to be 750 years old. So, I guess they were given a child name, and then once they reach 100 years old, can you believe that? 100 years old. Then they can choose their adult name. Gosh, imagine living 100 years and then now you're an adult instead of like 18 or 21. It's hilarious. Again, dark vision, like I said, they can see Oh, they've also got keen senses, fate, ancestry. So here's a high elf, and I think there's dark elves. Oh, yeah, okay, so, and then there's wood elf, and then there's dark elf, which is the drow. I like the drow personally. I did a playthrough as a drow in Baldur's Gate 3. Seriously, not a sponsor. Play Baldur's Gate 3. Fantastic game. Especially if you play it with, like, at least one friend. That can be a fun playthrough. Okay, now we've got the halfling playing the jamming out on the lute. I like that. She's just having a great old time. Oh, and look, she's got a fox on her bag. Oh man, look at that teapot. I know a couple of cottagecore women in my life who would kill for that teapot. If you don't know what cottagecore is, look it up. So they're small and practical. They are kind and curious. They blend into the crowd. Pastoral pleasantries. So yeah, they really just keep to themselves. Stay out of the way. You got your names here. Here's some traits. Oh, here's two different ones, Lightfoot and Stout. So essentially you are a lighter one, but the other one you are bigger. Oh, but this one you have some resistance to poison, so that's pretty neat. Now we go to the human. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So we've got the human now. I don't really think I have to tell any of you what a human is. You could probably figure it out. No, it just tells you they have all variety sorts of stuff. Oh, good lord. I think they might have the most sub-genres. Lasting institutions, exemplars of ambition. Okay. Okay, so Kalish. Okay, so yeah, literally these are just all different kinds of humans. So that's pretty neat. Nothing too crazy in the traits. Dragonborn, this is a cool class. My buddy on one of our Baldur's Gate 3 runs played as a Dragonborn. And it was actually really funny because he was just messing around with the settings too much, and he gave himself all male features, but he had left the gender thing or whatever to female, and so he's like this really buff masculine dragonborn, and everyone's just like, ma'am. And it was really funny. Just a nice accidental, but yeah, dragonborns are awesome. And they have like different types as well, and they have like a lot of resilience. So yeah, like right here, if you choose Draconic Ancestry, so you can be different colors of dragons, and then there are different damage types. It's like a special move you get, I believe. It's thundering outside. I'm sorry. Maybe that will pass. And then you've got the gnome. Gnomes are pretty lit, I guess. You have vibrant expression, delighted dedication. I don't know. I mean, feel free, again, to pause this and read it. I'm not too sure what is the difference between a gnome and a halfling. And if I get flame in the comments for that, I apologize. Bright burrows. Gnome names. Oh, they have some weird names. Namfoodle. Orin. Frug. Frug. Oda. Brina. Donella. Nyx. Baron. Timbers. Kunim. Alright, they also have dark vision, which is pretty cool. Gnome cunning, languages, subrace. So there's two there. So there's a forest gnome and rock gnome. Natural knack for illusion and inherent quickness and stealth. Natural inventiveness and hardiness beyond that of other gnomes. Tinker. So I guess they're like tinkerers. So if you like gadgetry, I would say go with them. Okay, now we have a half-elf. I can't remember. I guess we'll find out whether or not you actually choose the other half or if it's like just human. I don't remember. This bird. Of two worlds. Okay, so I do think it is elves and humans. They also have dark vision. It's ridiculous. Actually, I didn't even see. No, I guess they're just what they are. Okay. Now we got half orcs. So I also would wager that this is orc with human, maybe? It's looking quite scary back there. Scarred and strong, the mark of a Grumsh. Half-orc names. Gel. Ovak. So they have dark vision. They also have menacing, resilient endurance, savage attacks. They're pretty good. This was also a race that I did a playthrough on in Baldur's Gate 3. Tieflings are, tieflings are not very liked. Infernal bloodline, self-reliant and suspicious. Damagos, Chiron. Ia. They also have dark vision. They have hellish resistance, so they have resistance to fire damage, which is pretty nice. Oh, well, I guess that's all the races. So we're gonna stop there for this video. If you guys would like to see more of this booklet, or if you'd like to see some story books, I have a couple of campaign books we could also look at. If you enjoyed this sort of show and tell of this book, and this book is pretty big, so we could go through this for a hot minute. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope this gave you some very nice sleep, and I will see you all in the next one.